What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today. It is the 7th of May, and we are a little bit under an hour underway on this new day. 23 hours, 10 minutes left. Closing yesterday at 2.2% to the upside, $96.8 thousand. You guys, we're back in it right now. It's very possible. It's very possible that we have absolved ourselves of going down to this $88,000 level. And I want to be clear, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but this is more or less exactly what we were looking for as far as a proving me wrong, right? What we would need to see to prove me wrong. This is exactly what we needed. What was yesterday, we were mentioning the slight hope that we could bounce off the 60 and get a positive reaction there. What would be demanded, what would be required is that this day here, the day we just closed, was a continuation off of this low. We got a green day and something that continued higher, ideally a little bit bigger than this, but 2.2% will do, man. That's the biggest candle we've got, I think, so far in this range, if not one of them. 2.49, that one's a little bit bigger. A little bit of volume coming in, nothing crazy, but that is the most volume that we've seen in about the past week. So on a given day like this, that's actually not a bad thing at all. There's nothing yet that is validating to the idea that we're absolved of going lower, right? We still very well could go to $88,000. We could go somewhere, to the low 90s, something like that. But it's very possible. I would say right now the likelihood that we break out above $100,000 is a lot more likely today than it was yesterday. And the fact that we are bouncing off the 60 here is a very, very bullish thing, you guys. We have one more thing to do to validate that we're moving higher, or maybe two things at once, right? Get a day to close above this day here, so close above 97K essentially. If we can close today above 97K, that'd be really good, ideally with some kind of momentum, not like a wick, not a big wick and then coming down, right? We don't want it to be something like this. We want it to be like something like yesterday or similar to like these days here, that day there. Something that pushes us above this daily high close here at about 97K, which would also push the RSI into the overbought zone. You guys, getting overbought, bouncing off the 60, getting overbought again, it would be undeniable at that point that we're on our way to $100,000 and beyond. We're likely going to go to about 104K and beyond in a very, very short amount of time. New all-time highs are on the table. And I wonder, I was talking about this earlier. I don't know where I got confused. I'm going to look you guys in the eyes real quick. I'm going to bring up the big screen if it'll let me. Yeah. I don't know where I got this wrong earlier, but I thought the FOMC, I thought the Fed was going to have a meeting today, an FOMC meeting, and they did not have that at all on the 6th. They're having it today on the 7th. When I say today, it's still the 6th for me, but by the way of Bitcoin, by the charts here, it's the 7th already. But on the 7th, they are going to have a meeting. I thought they were going to have a meeting today. I don't know where I got that wrong, but I was misinformed. Apparently, that's tomorrow. And the fact that we're moving up right now might be confirmation of some kind of bullish or dovish news that comes from that, right? Quantitative easing and interest rates dropping, stuff like that. I am anticipating it to be a sell the news event. So again, I'm not saying right now that we're confirmed to just move up higher. We absolutely could still recover from here and go down. We haven't broken out of this consolidation range yet, but it is pretty exciting and it's nice to see, especially backed by volume. That's the most volume we've seen in about 6 days. So that's nice to see. And not the highest daily close, but today could provide that. Let's look at the 4-hour time frame and keep going from there. So looking at the 4-hour, we're picking up volume, above average volume. The last 3 candles moving up with a purpose, getting overbought right now potentially. So these coming hours are very critical. This is where we make it or break it. If we reject here, we come down. We're rejecting the overbought zone, and likely we will see prices that are a little bit lower than this. I don't know at this point in time if 88K is still the likely target. I wouldn't say that at this point in time. If and when we pull back from a low to a high, the expectation would be to go to about 92,000, just below there, 91.7K, the base area of this range. Prior resistance, prior support back here, that would be the idea. Normally you don't call for the 236 to happen, but as we have discussed, we have found support at the 236 before on this route up, right? So maybe we do it again. It's not common, but hey, man, it could happen. And at this point, I can't help but think that that's the more likely outcome right now if we are to go lower. Now, if we don't go lower, if we don't reject here and we do press higher, we're probably going to be over $100,000 today, you guys. We're at 97.3K right now. We'll finally break above 100K, reaching for new all-time highs, and it starts right now. So that would be awesome. The daily RSI, again, closing above 97K would be a big deal for multiple reasons. It would get us overbought. Moving up today, moving further, especially immediately, would be a big deal because it gets us overbought in the 4-hour RSI as well. Getting overbought like this living above the 50, getting down to the oversold zone, and you can't even get in there, man. You get a taste, and that's it, and you just fly right back up here. This is very bullish, very, very bullish environment that we're in right now, you guys. So, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but you gotta be predominantly allocated in the markets right now, right? If you're sitting out with like anything significant, I mean, the amount of money that I'm sitting out right now to make some trades or make some plays, it's like 2%. It's less than 2% of my whole portfolio. You know what I mean? Like I'm predominantly allocated into the markets. You gotta, if you have money, you gotta find somewhere to park it and park it fast. I would anticipate that a lot of the lower call targets that I've had for various cryptos, they might be off the table if this presses higher. If we do correct, you know, that they're still on the table. We don't know if it's pressing higher yet, but I think it's kind of a wait and see moment. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Looking at the 4-hour time frame, I would expect that if we can close this 4-hour, maybe not right here specifically, but a little bit higher, if we can close this 4-hour candle at above like 98K, I'd be convinced that we're moving up to $100,000 today. Because that getting into the overbought zone right there, I mean, the last time, if you notice here, we're looking at the 4-hour RSI, the last time that you got overbought, and it had been a while since you've been overbought, it was here, right? When you got overbought, did it stop, right? You got overbought here on this candle, right? Did it stop there? No, you continued to grow, right? And maybe you stopped for like a day, technically, but you continued to grow, you continued to grow, you continued to grow. We're just getting overbought now. It's like the equivalent of being here on this overall path up. So over the coming days, we would likely move higher. That's kind of what I'm seeing here. If not even today, moving up above 100K. Just because we stalled here for a day last time, right whenever we got overbought, doesn't mean we do the same thing here. Oftentimes when you get overbought, you actually do just press higher rather immediately. Let's see if we can find another example of that. You know, here was an overbought rejection. I wouldn't say it's the same here. Here you go. So you got overbought and you pressed higher immediately. So inevitably going lower, but I would think that we don't go lower, even if we do press higher immediately. I would think we don't go lower because we're breaking out of this relative consolidation phase here, similar and very akin to what we did here. I would think that it takes us to the next phase up, which would be somewhere around like $104,000. Looking at this from an overall high to a low, the high back on January 20th. Wasn't it the 20th? Yeah. We're on the 3-day time frame. That's why it doesn't say that. And then April 7th, the low. The 886 is at $104,600. I expect that we'll stop there somewhere over the coming days, if not $110,000, somewhere in that range. And inevitably, by the end of the month of May, we're looking for 130 to 140,000. I think we'll be closer to 140, but just below there by the end of the month of May. I got nothing else for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. This does change things. I mean, it's not now that lower price targets are completely foregone for all altcoins or for any other coins that we've talked about, but it does change things. It makes things a bit interesting, and I would be very nervous as an investor or a spectator or a speculator in this market if I was not predominantly invested in crypto. So if you've got a good portion of money sitting out of the markets right now, you got to find a place to park it, man, because I think this could be a sign that things are taking off in one way or another. You know, not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Do whatever you want. You don't have to buy, you don't have to sell, do whatever the hell you want. I'm just sharing my opinion. But the thing is, we very well could reject from here. We very well could go even below this low. It depends on what we do. These next 3 hours are going to be a big deal. So here we are on the 7th of May, the very first 4-hour candle. If by the time you're watching this or an hour after you're watching this, whenever this candle closes or the following candles close, if we don't get some immediate follow through, or at the very least condense like this, like we did last time, if we do anything to the downside at all, I would be convinced that today's going to be a red day. And in fact, what we're getting is some kind of double top that will likely take us either back to these lows or below those lows. Okay, so just be aware of that. These next 3 hours are actually pretty damn critical. I would even say the next 4 hours after that, so the next 7 hours. This first 4-hour candle today, the 7th, and the next one, I think will be critical, mainly because we're going to figure out what we're doing with the overbought zone. Is this real or is it not, right? Are we going to do something with this, or are we going to reject like we did last time and then fall over? You know what I mean? If we do, it's fine. But it's looking good. I'll tell you what, it's looking good. I'm surprised right now and in a good way. So we'll see how it goes. I got nothing else for you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.